She Shed. Today's tutorial is going to be on this fantastically beautiful rainbow beanie. If you've already seen my rainbow slippers, this beanie is to go with that. So I will leave a link down below to the rainbow slippers if you would like to also attempt making those as well. And what are we going to make this from? We are going to be using this wonderful yarn, which is called Cozy Wool, and it is 100% superwash wool. This I get at Lincraft, and it is about 174 meters. You will not require the whole ball, you will have leftovers. And it says a 4.5 millimeter hook, but I go up a size, so I use a 5.5 millimeter hook. And the name of this yarn is called Bright Mix. And what I will be using is this 5.5 millimeter hook, which is from Furls. You will also need a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, and your yarn needle. If you would also like to have a counter to count how many rows, do that as well. Alright, so let's get this project started. To start off our beanie, we are going to start on the rim, and that requires us to do the rib stitch. So we will be putting a slip knot. You don't need a long tail, we'll be working that in later. So let's make that tail shorter. Get your hook and put it on your hook. And we will be chaining 8 plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. And we will be working every stitch for the rib stitch into the front of our stitch, into the V. Skip the first chain, go to the next one and put your hook through the V, grab your yarn, pull it through, grab your yarn and pull through the 2 on the hook, and that's a single crochet. And we'll be doing single crochets in the V to create our rib stitch for the whole entire rim. So again, into the V, grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn, pull through the 2 on the hook, and repeat this to the end. Last stitch. Just check I've got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Chain 1 and turn. And we just repeat the process. So see the V, go straight into the V, grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn and pull through the 2 on the hook. And we repeat. And don't. And down to the last stitch. Just make sure I've got my 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I normally count in my head that I've got 8. It's easy to lose a stitch somewhere, so just check each time or count in your head. And then at the end of the row, chain 1, turn your work, and then just repeat. So keep doing this. If you are following along with me, I'm going to be doing 72 rows in my rib. Now this is long enough to then wrap comfortably around my head. You don't want it too tight, so don't stretch it too much. This is wool, it is stretchy. but also you don't want to have it so that it's too loose. So what I do is put it around my head and just pull it ever so slightly, and that generally is the right fit. So if you've got the same size head as me, it is going to be 72 stitches, sorry, 72 rows. And just work out how many rows you need to go around your head or the head of the person you are making this for. And then stop when it's at the right size. And I will meet you back here to continue on with making our beanie. Once you have your 72 stitches, or whatever amount you require to make this big enough to go around your head, make sure you finish off with the opposite end of your tail. And then what we're going to do, lay it out flat so there's no twist and turn, and bring it together. And we are going to slip stitch basically slip stitch it together. So what you need to do is find that very first stitch right up the top here, put your hook through, grab your yarn and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. Then go to the next stitch, which you'll see the V there, and grab the next stitch on the other side, put your hook in and grab the yarn and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. And just repeat, so next one on the other side, and pull through. And you're going to repeat that all the way down to the end. Last stitch. Okay, and then when you finish your last one, turn it inside out, and you'll see that your seam is done and it's disappeared. Now what we are going to do, because I have 72 rows, I'm going to create 72 stitches. So whatever amount of rows you have made for your rim, you are going to do the same amount of stitches. And what you're going to do is put a stitch at the top of each row. So you can see how it's risen here, and then it falls in, risen, fold in, risen, fall, and you're going to put a stitch, one in the risen part, one in the fall part, one in the risen, one in the fall, so on and so forth. And it's going to be half double crochets, and I'm going to work in the tail at the same time, so I don't need to sew it in later. So half double crochet, yarn over, and then go into the top of that ridge, so the risen part. Pull your yarn through, then grab your yarn and pull through the 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and now I'm going to go into the dippy bit. Put your hook in, grab your yarn, pull it through, grab your yarn and pull through the 3 on the hook. Now obviously you're going to make sure that that tail is nicely laying across so you can work your stitches over it. So yarn over, go into that ridge now, so the uppy bit of the next row, pull your yarn through, grab your yarn, pull through the 3 on the hook, and keep repeating that all the way around. Make sure your tail is covered. And when you have done the amount of stitches that equals the amount of ribbing you did, for me 72 stitches should be created. So I'm going to finish my 72 stitches and I'll meet you back at the end of this round. Okay, once you have finished that, just make sure you've got the 72 stitches there, so count them up, and when you have, or whatever amount it is that you require, We are going to continue in the round. We are not going to join the row together with a slip stitch or anything like that. We're just going to continue. So the next stitch is going to go into the first stitch of the round. So we're just going to put a half double crochet straight into there and just continue with a half double crochet in every single stitch. And we are just going to keep going around and around and around until we have done 18 rounds. Now, I don't go along too far because I want to know where the start and the finish is. So I'm going to go back to the start of that round and put a stitch marker in there. So it tells me where the start is, because I want this to be the back of my beanie, even though it's going to be very hard to tell the back and the front, but it is slightly different and you want to keep that at the back. We're going to work around in the round for 18 rounds. So just keep working your half double crochets in every single stitch until you have 18 rounds. And after you have finished your 18th round, I will meet you back here and show you how to do the top. Alright, after your 18 rows, this is where we're going to now bring the beanie back in. So we're going to decrease some rows and bring it back in. 18 rows, if that's not long enough for your head, what you need to do is just try it on, and it should come halfway up your crown of your head. So a little bit just above your ears. If it's too much, just do less rows. If you need more, do more rows. But for me, 18 was exactly right. And what we are now going to do is decrease every second row. So this first decrease is going to be decreasing in every fourth stitch. But I'm going to start off with a decrease, and what you do is yarn over, go into the first stitch, bring your yarn through, go into the second stitch, bring your yarn through, and then yarn over and through all the loops on your hook. Then we're going to do 3 half double crochets, and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3. Yarn over into the first stitch, bring your yarn through, into the second stitch, bring your yarn through, yarn over and through all 3 loops on your hook, and then 3 more stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then the next one, being the fourth stitch, will be a decrease, and then 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease, and keep doing that around the whole top the next round you're doing. At the end of the round now, but I did forget to mention, bring your stitch marker up when you start your decrease round, so you know where the end and start of that row is. Sorry about that. Okay, so the next round is going to be just half double crochets for the whole round. Now before I go too much further, let me remember to bring the stitch marker back up and keep going half double crochet for this round. No decrease whatsoever, just a half double crochet the entire round. Back to my stitch marker, and this next round is going to be a decrease round, and this time we are decreasing at every second stitch. So I'm going to start off with my decrease and then 2 single half double crochets and then a decrease. Now before I go any further, I'm going to bring my stitch marker up so I know where I started that round, and back to 2 half double crochets and 1 decrease. 2 half double crochets, 1 decrease. Alright, and I will meet you back at the end of this round. Back at my stitch marker, and this next round is going to be all half double crochet for the entire round. So no decrease in this round, it is all half double crochet. And before I forget, let's put this stitch marker up and continue half double crochet for this entire round. Back at the stitch marker again, and this round will be a decrease round, and this round is decreasing every second stitch. So start off with my decrease and then half double crochet, then a decrease, then a half double crochet, then a decrease, and you get the pattern. So I will see you back at the end of this round. Back at the stitch marker again, and this is now the final round, and for this round we will be just doing a half double crochet in every stitch. Remember to still bring your stitch marker back up so you know where the end of the round is, and half double crochet all the way around, and I will meet you back at the end of this round. Alright, back at that stitch marker, and we have now finished working all of our stitches and we've finished crocheting, but you can see now how the beanie is coming in, and now we are going to just finish this off. So get a tail long enough that goes around the rim of your beanie, and look, it has a knot in it, so I'm going to stop it right there. Don't you just hate it when the yarn comes with a knot? Slip stitch the next stitch. Grab your yarn, pull it through, and then pull straight through your loop on the hook and pull. You can remove your stitch marker now. Grab your yarn needle, and we're going to weave in and out the top. Now you don't have to weave in and out every single stitch. You can skip a few. You don't have to be overly precise. And don't tighten up just yet. Keep weaving till you get back to the beginning, and then thread your needle through the hole, turn it inside out so that we can have the knot on the inside. Pull tight, but don't pull too tight that you're going to break the thread. And then once you've got the hole closed, sew up the hole. Now the amount of times you go in and out, backwards and forwards, sewing up that hole is purely preference for you, however securely you want to make that. And what direction you want to do, same thing, up to you, until you feel your hole there is closed. There we go. And then do a couple of knots. 1, 2, and then I just weave in my end so you can't have it coming undone at all. Chop off the end, and there you go. Your beanie is now finished, and hopefully goes beautifully with your matching slippers if you did the slippers with my slipper video. I will leave a link down below to that. I hope you've enjoyed making your very quick and simple beanie, and I'd love to see any photos you have of your finished beanie. If you would like to share with me, please share on my Instagram page, which is lucky_platypus1, or website www.luckyplatypus.com.au, and I'm also on Facebook under Lucky Platypus. So everybody, have a fantastic day, enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I will see you here back at the she shed sometime very soon. Bye everyone.